Hi, my name is Chelsea Wallace. I'm a family nurse practitioner student at Northwest Nazarene University. I'm going to be talking to you today about Afa Abraham Melis's transitions theory. Afa Abraham Melis, she was born on March 19, 1942 in Alexandria, Egypt. Both of Melis's parents were accomplished individuals. Her father was the director of lighthouses and served in the Egyptian Navy. He ultimately climbed the ranks to Director General. He did put his naval career on hold to care for Melis and her sister when they were 12 and 3 years old, so her mother could attend Syracuse University in New York to get her Bachelor's of Science degree in nursing. She was the first nurse from the Middle East to ever be awarded this degree. This shaped Melis's commitment to a career in nursing. Melis's mother ultimately went on to become the first Egyptian nurse to also earn a degree in public health and a doctorate from an Egyptian university. Melis also has an accomplished sister who lives in San Diego. Her sister conducts hospital-based sociological research and guides historical tours in Egypt. Melis has been married for more than 50 years and is married to a nuclear engineer. She has 2 sons and many grandchildren. Education. So Melis earned her Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. She graduated magna cum laude from the University of Alexandria in 1961. She left Egypt in the early 1960s to pursue graduate education at the University of California, Los Angeles. At UCLA, she earned her Master's of Science degree in Nursing in 1964, a Master's of Arts degree in Sociology in 1966, and finally a doctorate in Medical and Social Sociology in 1968. The upper picture I have on this slide is actually the University of Alexandria in Egypt, and the lower right-hand picture is the University of California, Los Angeles. Some of her many accomplishments and career highlights. She was awarded the Living Legend Award from the American Academy of Nursing. She was a member of the National Academy of Medicine. She earned the Neil J. Watts Lifetime Achievement in Nursing Award from Sigma Theta Tau International. She's in the Nursing Hall of Fame at the University of California, Los Angeles and the University of California, San Francisco. She earned her honorary doctorate in Sweden and in Spain. She is a distinguished honorary citizen in Portugal. She has written more than 175 articles that have been published in social science, nursing, and medical journals. She has published 7 books and more than 40 chapters. Beyond just these some accomplishments and career highlights, she has mentored hundreds of students, clinicians, and researchers, not only from the United States, but also from Thailand, Brazil, Egypt, Jordan, Israel, Colombia, South Korea, and Japan. She's quite an amazing woman. This is kind of a timeline of her career teaching. So 1966, after she earned her master's degree, she started as a faculty member at the University of California, Los Angeles. She served as a faculty member until 1971. In 1971, she moved to the University of San Francisco, where she taught for the next 34 years. In 2002, she served or began her service as the 5th Dean of the University of Pennsylvania School of Nursing until 2004. In 2004, she just stepped down to serve as a professor of nursing and sociology at the University of Pennsylvania until her official retirement in 2016. Although she continues to work on nursing theory, her official retirement was in 2016, but according to the University of Pennsylvania's website, she still does teach a few classes, so semi-retired. So the development of her transitions theory. Where did this all start? So this all kind of started when she took over the one-of-a-kind nursing theory class at UCLA from Dorothy Johnson, which was the professor and creator of the behavioral systems model. And this experience of teaching nursing theory really sparked her passion for nursing theory and of also sharing nursing theory with students. Melise started teaching this course in 1966. This was just 1 year after she had finished her doctorate degree. Beyond teaching this course, she also had colleagues that influenced her. Dr. Ralph H. Turner, a UCLA sociologist, was also a founder of the collective behavior and social movement. He was also a theoretical guru and was a person who inspired an interest in her role in development theory. Turner also became and remained a very close friend of Melise's until his death in his 90s. Melise also attributes her passion for theory-based research to a mentor and another dear friend, Burton Meyer. Dr. Meyer was at UCLA and he taught conceptual framework and research. So this was a new idea in the 1960s. Melise's association with Meyer was relatively short, however, because he died in 1967 of pancreatic cancer. But his influence as her mentor left an incredible mark on her career. Melise's transitions theory. I want to start with the basic beliefs. So the transitions theory is a middle or a mid-range theory that has been well received by nursing researchers and used as a conceptual basis in many research articles. The concept of transitions is central to the practice of nursing. Transitions theory proposes that certain events trigger transitions in our lives. This movement is generally viewed as positive because a completion of a transition usually results in greater stability. Transitions that relate to health, self-care, or well-being may result in interactions with nurses, so this is how it applies to us in the nursing field. This is a depiction of Melise's transitions theory in a more picture view so you can see it. I will first go over transitions. So these are types of transitions. So transition is defined as a passage from one life phase, condition, or status to another, a multiple concept embracing the elements of process, time span, and perception. There are 4 different types of transitions: developmental, situational, health, illness, and organizational transitions. Developmental transitions occur as a normal part of growing and development as individuals progress through the stages of life. For example, the developmental transitions occur from adolescence to adulthood. Situational transitions are triggered by an event that has health illness implications, or is the addition or subtraction of an individual, i.e., a death in the family. Health illness transitions are events that are triggered by a health-related cause. So the diagnosis of a chronic illness would be an example of this. Organizational transitions are ones in which the environment or groups are affected by rules, regulations, governing them in some way. For example, getting a new supervisor or implementing a new policy at work. Patterns of transition. So according to Melise, transitions can occur sequentially or simultaneously. The degree of overlap and the association between transitions may be different. So you might have a single transition occurring, multiple transitions. They might be sequential, so one at a time, or these transitions might be happening at the same time or simultaneously. They might be related or unrelated. There's some concepts or properties. So although the types of transitions are different, they have similarities. These similarities are called properties. Melise identifies these properties as concepts in her most recent work on the theory. The 5 properties or concepts are time span, or the transitions develop over time, and that transitions are fluid processes, or flowing from one state from the other, having stages. There's also a feeling of disconnectedness that may be real or perceived. The fourth property is awareness, where individuals and or families are aware that they're experiencing the triggering event, situation, or change and what is or has happened to them. The fifth property is presence of milestones that could serve as a place where the individual, family, or organization could begin to turn things around. Knowing appropriate milestones is essential to helping people move through transitions successfully. Response to transitions. There are two types of responses, or categories of responses. The first one is process patterns, and the second one is outcome patterns. So process patterns is measured by the extent of engagement in the changed event, level of confidence in handling, and the handling of new demands. Outcome patterns or patterns of outcome responses may include mastery, fluid integrative identities, resourcefulness, healthy interactions, and perceived well-being. These are all patterns of outcome responses. Assessing process indicators is important because it can alert a nurse whether the client is moving towards risk, illness, and unhealthy outcomes, or towards health, perceived well-being, and healthy outcomes. Assumptions. There's 11 assumptions that Melise includes in her theory. The first one is a client's response to various transitions is shaped by interactions with others and reference groups. 2 is change through health, illness, events, and situations triggers a process before and after the event itself. 3 is individuals and or family experiences a change in process with different responses and outcomes, even if they are not aware of the triggering event or response. 4 is the nature of the experience shapes the outcome. 5, prevention, actions, and therapeutic interventions can affect outcomes. 6 is clients have the capacity to assume new roles as shaped by their environment. 7 is healthcare can be delivered more equitably by using well-documented evidence. 8 is gender, race, culture, heritage, and sexual orientation shape people's experiences with the healthcare system and therefore their health outcome. 9 is humanism, holism, context, health, well-being, goals, and care all part of nursing purview. 10 is environment is defined as the physical, social, cultural, organizational, and societal factors that influence experiences, interventions, and outcomes. 11 is recipients of nursing care are individuals, families, and communities, and they are partners in the care process. So healthy outcomes during transitions is ultimately the goal. So to facilitate this, interventions may be necessary. The transitions theory uses critical points or milestones through the care pathway where special attention, education, intervention, or evaluation is necessary to prevent a reversal of progress. For example, milestones are newborn checkup or 6-week recovery for a heart attack. Debriefing is an interview method whereby people are allowed to talk about circumstances surrounding a critical encounter repeatedly as needed. Debriefing is very helpful during a transition at milestones to facilitate emotional well-being. There are many, many examples of Melise's transitions theory to be used, but I was most interested in this intensive care unit survivor example because I work in the ICU. Transitions occur everywhere in all parts of our lives, as we know. Right now, we are transitioning as registered nurses or bachelor's prepared nurses into family nurse practitioners. So this is a great example of how this applies to our lives. In the intensive care unit, they did some research on transitions that patients experience moving from an intensive care unit to a normal floor, what they call a ward in this case. Some patterns or transitions that they identified in this article were life-threatening illness to health. Also, the transition from highly specialized, technical, and individualized care to more generalized care. Security and in the know of the ICU to vulnerability and unpredictability